This is tape number ET57 from the library of the Howard Thurman Educational Trust. Two meditations by Howard Thurman. This is side 1, entitled The Integrity of the Word.
Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. I'm reading from Meditations of the Heart, one of the most incisive stories told by Jesus concerned a man who had 2 sons. To the first he said, "Son, go work today in the vineyard." Very quickly the son responded by saying that he would not do it. And then Jesus adds, but afterwards he repented and went. To the other son he made the same request. Immediately he responded by saying that he would oblige his father, but did not do so. The point of the story expressed in the gospel is that the son who said no but changed his mind did the will of his father. It is a very interesting picture presented here concerning one whose immediate reaction to any request is negative. It does not matter how simple the request is or how complicated, the spontaneous reply is in the negative. A very commonplace adage descriptive of such a personality is, his bark is worse than his bite. Such persons are never so negative as their words would indicate. This may be a matter of temperament. Once this particular characteristic is understood, it is easy to depend upon their carrying through in positive terms the things to which they had reacted negatively. Sometimes such persons start a trend in the wrong direction when their first words influence others who will abide by the negative judgment. The function of such an attitude may be to screen all proposals first by challenging their validity and their claims, and denial may quickly lay bare the integrity of the proposal. Such may be a time saver in the end, I don't know, but I wonder. The other boy may be characterized as Mr. Facing Both Ways, one of the figures in Pilgrim's Progress, you remember. His attitude seems to be to give no offense, to agree, but to reverse for oneself the true intent. For some such persons, it is an inability to say no. The result is that such a boy may be pushed by anything, anytime, anywhere, with no moral integrity to bottom the argument. Here is a character weakness because it places at a discount the value of the word. The word is the symbol, the communication symbol of meaning, of intent, of purpose. If the symbol is fundamentally unreliable, then the basis of relations becomes at once chaotic and often immoral. At another place in the Gospels, the words of Jesus are of a different sort. Let your words be yes, yes, and no, no. Simple, but terribly difficult. Quite possible, but searching. Much can be said about the integrity of the word. I'm constantly amazed and what is the word, even excited in a muted manner when I reflect upon what must have been the beginning of language, of the spoken word at some far-off time in the past, when out of all the sounds of various kinds, in the world of nature, certain sounds were, as it were, imprisoned and given a particular meaning, so that whenever that combination of sounds was heard, then the meaning that had become associated with that particular combination of sounds was communicated or conveyed. Suppose, for instance, at some far-off time in the past, the sound of for the word that gives alarm that danger is coming had been agreed upon. And then someone used another word, a word that he thought of at the moment when he saw the danger. And he uttered this word to warn the others. But there was no apperceptive mass that could receive this word. The sound of the word had no meaning history, and therefore no integrity and no ability to communicate. The integrity of the word cannot be overemphasized. When a man is able to say what it is that he means, and to use words that are symbolic of this dimension of intention and integrity, then the hearer knows that when he hears the word, that the word that he hears is a symbol of the meaning. And a symbol is a form through which meaning leaps, as it were. And if the symbol is wobbly, if the symbol is not secure, then the meaning leaks. Now there are many words in our vocabularies like that. A man uses the word love, for instance, and the word as a symbol has had such a wide variety of meanings. It has been so, without seeming facetious, so manhandled that it leaks. And when it is used, we aren't quite sure whether it is a tight symbol through which meaning moves. Sometimes with children who are growing up, very often it is difficult to understand them because they are trying on words for size. They are trying to find how words feel when they use them, and what the words are capable of inspiring in others. And until we understand this and are able to tutor the child in his word meaning experience, he may grow up with a completely undependable and chaotic use of meaningful symbols. When I was a boy, I earned money occasionally by answering the door for my two aunts who were young women, and certain nights in the week when their callers came, my job was to answer the doors. So if the wrong man came, I would know what to say. Well, when I was beginning this, someone came up the steps and knocked at the door, and my aunt stood at the window and pulled the shade back just a little, and she saw who it was, and she said, "Howard, tell him that I'm not here." So I went to the door and I said, "My aunt says she isn't here." Well, now, this is what she did say, and it was literal, but all of the overtones that come with, how shall I say it, that come with what we call maturity, means that we learn how to use words to obscure meaning, to use words to protect ourselves from exposing what is really going on. And therefore it is very difficult to orient oneself into any thoroughgoing use of the integrity of the word. Among your friends, for instance, if you told your friends the truth, you are afraid that you would not have many friends long. And why is this? Because there is a weakness here. We have lost the magic of the integrity of the word. It is not an accident that in the great religions, and a religion like Christianity, that so much is made of the statement that the word became flesh. And this is what we mean, we say, and what we say, we do. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer.
This program was pre-recorded.
This is tape number ET57 from the library of the Howard Thurman Educational Trust. This is Side 2, entitled Man's Equity in Life.
Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. The sense of self is fully known when a man can say, "I did it." Such triumph who can claim? In every deed are many streams whose sources lie beyond all dreams or sleep within the womb of ancient myths. The words in his tongue wander us all, finding in man a short-spanned place. They're never his alone. Or what a way they've come, through countless years and every land, through crucibles of every mood. Words now familiar in their place have made their own the marks of many minds. How dare a man say, I speak. Free-flowing thoughts from living minds are big with residues of other times, forced from their place by inner law, compelled to rest in little spells. A man may never say, this thought is mine. And equity in thoughts is his. The rest belongs to every man. Fierce, private, intimate, unique feelings spring from deep within. A boundless inner world as old as life. They come without command. The feeling tone, the pointed shape carries the image of the man. To this he gives his own life's plan. No more than this is his to claim. All knowledge in whatever form maintains its place secure. It knows no lord, no single mind. Its harvest ripens as it will. Its secret is its own to give, in part to share with other minds. To say I know is always false, however sure the words may seem. Before the echo fades, the lights go out, the man is held by fear, by doubt. To seek, to find, to seek again, this is man's journey. This is man's way. It is very often said that there are no exclusive rights that a man has, even in the ideas that are a familiar part of his frame of reference, or a familiar part of the way he communicates with other human beings. The sound of the words that he uses, the accent that he gives to these words, the meaning that the particular word has in a given context, all of these are part of his heritage, are a part of his inheritance. But when the word passes through the man and becomes one of his private tools of communication, he gives to the word his personal flavor, his tang, his accent, his emphasis, and thereby, and in that way only, does the word become his word. There are words that are very, very universal in their meaning, and when we use such words, we must do something to them, tamper with them in some way, so that the hearer will know that we mean something very personal and very private and very intimate in the use of the word. We'll take the word love, for instance. It is a universally used word, a word that is used universally, rather, but when under certain circumstances a man uses the word, along with the word is a quality in the voice, the timbre of the voice, the look in the eye, something on the countenance that says to the listener, now this universal word becomes flesh, becomes particularized. Now this is true with the use of words. It is true in terms of all of the habit patterns of our lives. It is true in the simple matters of decorum, and it is true in simple matters of dress. We are always confirming our solidarity with human life. Now and then an individual feels that he must become utterly separate from all of the rest of the human family. He becomes full of idiosyncrasies. He acts in ways that are to him so very unique that he will not be identified with the herd, with the mass. But even the way in which he does the erratic thing, he confirms his belonging to all of life. And this is true in a more profound way. It is true, for instance, with reference to our bodies. I remember many years ago when I lived in San Francisco, one Sunday morning I dedicated a little baby. And when I held him in my arms for the ceremony, I noticed that he had a dimple, what seemed to me to be a dimple in his neck. And when I went to see his parents a few days after that, I remarked rather facetiously that it's too bad that David had a dimple on his neck, and in time it would be covered by his collar, and he could not use it to any psychological advantage in the way that he could use it if it were a dimple on his cheek. And his mother said, that will not last. The pediatrician says that really isn't a dimple, but it is the vestigial remains of a gill, and the time will come when this will be absorbed, or a very simple operation will remove it. And then my mind went back to that far-off moment in human history when the waters were receding and when our forebears were learning how to take their air neat without benefit of water. And then I remember that there is in the human body the whole story of man's journey from his forebears and before them to the slimy oozes of some primeval ocean bed. There is a sense in which each man belongs to life, and a sense in which life belongs to each man. But when the life movement, the ebb and flow, the throb, the heartbeat of existence takes form in a particular human being, then he has an equity in the wide expanse of the rhythm of life, and it is operating within this equity that he feels that he has something that belongs to him. When I say I know, I feel, I understand, I must, in using those words, recognize the fact that I'm simply saluting life and claiming just a moment of equity that is mine and mine alone. This makes me live with humility and with great reverence that all of life is mine and I belong to all of life. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer.